Slight change to the studio. I decided to pull up a seat so I can sit and sip a dram of whiskey with you. What do you think of the new setup? Let me know in the comments. And let's do this. Welcome to Whisky Riffs. I'm Kevin, and I have a little change to my studio setup here. I decided to sit down so I could sip whiskey with you and get a little closer to the bottles. Can't hurt, right? Today, we have a lovely Aberlour whiskey, a name that is going to wreck me because I'm not sure how to say it, but let's go for it anyway. Let's call it the Aberlour Casg Annamh. Close? Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. So however you say Casg Annamh, it translates to rare cask. This particular whiskey is created from a limited number of selected casks that give it a unique flavor. This special release is triple cask and it's bottled at 48% ABV or 96 proof. And each special release like this has a batch number, and this happens to be batch number 5, which is really strange because when I bought this, I thought it was batch number 3. So maybe they just ran out of 3 and they sent me batch 5. And that's the problem with special releases. You may not get the flavor profile that you expected because release 1 or batch 1 is going to be different than 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. They change because they're selecting these whiskeys and maturing them at different times in a different series of casks. As with most Aberlour expressions, this is sherry cask, and that gives you unique flavors that only come from the maturation in those sherry casks. Aberlour has 6 main whiskeys. The Aberlour Abuna, which is one of my favorites because it's a real sherry bomb. The special releases for Aberlour can be hard to find, so I bought this one on Flavor, as I said, for about $81. If you can get it other places, let me know in the comments. I'd like to know if you've tried this or any of the other batches of this particular expression and what you thought of it. All right, let's crack into this bottle. Now, one of my things, that's not going to work. As much as I like a nice wax seal on a bottle, I find them really annoying in trying to get the cork out of this bottle. They're very heavy duty and sometimes just resist the actual removal of the cork. Plus, I don't like wax in my whiskey. So, there's that. We have the cork out. Excellent. For this little devil. As you would expect with a sherry finished whiskey, you're going to get darker colors. It's going to be more amber, and that color usually signals that you're dealing with a finished whiskey or one that has lived its life in something other than an oak or ex-bourbon cask. So I love Aberlour whiskeys, and I'm really excited. Judy and I have a trip planned in October that we're hoping works out and we get to visit the distilleries in the Highlands. And one of the distilleries we're going to visit is Aberlour because it's got a lot of the whiskeys that I really enjoy. It is a Highland whiskey, and Aberlour is actually in the town of Aberlour. And the distillery started twice in its lifetime. It actually started in 1829 and then again in 1879 when it was raised and then rebuilt in the town of Aberlour. The current distillery was built by James Fleming, who worked at the Dulaine distillery for 10 years. Now, they didn't actually produce any whiskey until 1880. It takes time to get things up and running and mature anything. And the distillery changed hands a few times, most notably in 1945 when it was bought by Campbell & Sons. And when Pernod Ricard bought the Campbell & Sons company, they acquired that in 2001. So Aberlour is not independent, but it still has the uniqueness that I like about certain whiskeys. And I appreciate this has a definite style and a definite flavor profile, and certainly comes through when I just look at the bottles, I look at the color, and when I nose and taste the whiskey, which let's go ahead and do that right now. So, like I said, it's at 48% ABV. Which gives you a little more punch to it. It's a nice level for me. I appreciate that they bottle at 48%. I don't mind 46, and when you start getting lower than 46, I start wondering, are you trying to make more money, or are you just balancing the ABV with the flavor profile that you're going for with a whiskey? I mean, the latter is possible, but sometimes I feel like you're just cheating me out of some percentage of alcohol that might actually make me more fond of your whiskey. This is also a non-chill filtered whiskey, which is excellent. I appreciate that. 48%, you don't need chill filtering. Chill filtering is more required if your whiskey is below 46% ABV and you're trying to avoid any cloudiness from cooling the whiskey or putting ice in it. Now with a sherry finished whiskey, you get that sherry sweetness to it. I get raisins on the nose. And if you see my last video, I'm a raisin fan. If you're not, argue with me in the comments. I get kind of a candied orange on the nose and a little bit of spice there. What's that spice? Oh, it's like a little hint of ginger. If I sit with it longer, I'm getting other fruits like cherries. The citrus is really nice on the edge of that. We've never had this before, so this is the first time I'll be tasting it right in front of camera with you. Ah, definitely a sherry whiskey. That 48% ABV is really spiking the spicy notes right away. They jump out at you. Definitely getting cinnamon on the spice. The finish, it has a little bit of black licorice. It's actually a nice long finish. I can feel that all the way down. I like that. A lot of nice fruit flavors. A little bit of apple there, apple cinnamon. I really like it tastes like a nice a baked tart with cinnamon and apple and that nice dough to it. It's desserty with a kick, which great combination for me. I really like those two together. I may have to compare this to the Abuna in another video because I can't tell if I'm getting new flavors from this. There certainly seems to be more spice to this. I'm also wondering if the 48% alcohol is affecting it at all. So let me go ahead and add a little bit of water to this. Now when I add water to whiskey, I try not to add too much at one time because you don't want to go too far and then you can't go back. But this has 48% ABV, so I'm going to give it 3 milliliters. You can tell this is an oily whiskey. I could see when I was putting the water in, the oil's moving about in there. That tells you a lot about if water is actually going to change the flavor of the whiskey. It got sweeter on the nose. I get Christmas cookies type stuff and the ginger and the cinnamon that ramped up the spiciness, took away a little bit of that alcohol burn, kind of made the licorice, the black licorice taste a little bit higher. I don't know if I like the change, but you know me. I like my full strength whiskey. Let me put a little bit more in here, see where we go with it. Oh yeah, you can definitely see the swirls of the oil moving about. It definitely can handle water. And it does change the flavors. If I were you, I'd experiment with water, see if you like it better or not. I think the fruitiness decreases with added water and the spiciness ramps up. I'm getting more oak spice now and it's drier on the finish. Well, another Aberlour whiskey that I really like, and I'm gonna keep an eye on these and see what their different batches are like. It's not that expensive for a 48% ABV whiskey. I mean, there's no age statement on here, but it is triple matured in different casks. So you're getting some time, obviously, and you're getting some flavor from all those casks and a very selection of casks that they chose. So I think that $70 or $80 for a bottle of Highland Scotch that's got this much sherry finish and this much ABV is definitely worth it. So if you're a fan of sherry finish whiskeys, of sherried whiskeys at all, if you're a fan of like the cinnamon spices and the fruit flavors that come with a sherry finish, I think this may be something that you should take a look at. Certainly if you've had other expressions from Aberlour, I would give this one a try, see if you like it. And if you like this video, please give me a like and hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you thought about this whiskey. Let me know if you like the sit and sip situation here. And most importantly, take care of yourself. Take care of those around you. And until we meet in the next video, cheers. So however you say it, it translates to however you say Casg Annamh correctly. However you, now I've never had this before. Now I've never had this.